Story 1. I don't even know where to start. My wife and I have been married for just over 18 years. The first several years were really good. We were really close, loved hanging out together, etc. I honestly gave my very best effort to be good, loving, supportive, romantic, etc. I'm a good provider. I'm a very involved father of 3. I do lots of household chores as well. I'm not perfect, I know. And I'm not trying to brag about myself, but I can take a very honest, introspective look at myself and be certain that I have been as good to her as I can be. One of the biggest issues for me for most of our relationship has been her disinterest in sex. She knows it's meaningful to me to be close and intimate with her, but she just doesn't want it. She has told me she only does it for me, and that if something ever happened to me, she would never have sex again. So that has been difficult for me to process. Trying to figure out how to try and have intimacy with someone who actively tells me she doesn't want it. Several years ago, we started to have some issues. She started saying some very unkind things to me and about me to her friends and family. I also started to feel very taken advantage of. I was asked to do more and more around the house. And anytime I voiced my concern, it was met with, well, I can't do everything around here. I also noticed that anytime I tried to share my feelings of frustration, or if I was upset about something she said or did, the answer was, well, I didn't mean it that way. You're just too sensitive. Or you just took it wrong. Never any accountability. Never any acceptance or validation of my feelings. We went to counseling, but she quit going after the second session because she felt like the female counselor and I were ganging up on her. I went a couple more times, but decided to just try and work on things at home with her. A few years go by, and while nothing got better, there wasn't really any change either way. Then we had a pretty big fight, and I told her I didn't know how to fix things with her. If I couldn't share my feelings with her, I suggested counseling again, but she didn't want to go. I told her that if we didn't do counseling, I didn't see any future together, so we went to counseling a second time, but only went to 5 to 6 sessions before she stopped going again. A year ago, my father passed away. I was devastated. He was my rock. He and I were so close. It was an extremely difficult time for me. He passed away on a Tuesday morning. I called my wife and told her what happened, and that I was heading home. Surprisingly, she never joined me. She continued working all week. I went to the funeral home alone to arrange his service, to take his burial clothes, to give the funeral home the few items to set up in memory of him. As I walked out of the funeral home, I just broke down. It was absolutely the worst feeling in the world, to be in that much pain, and to be doing it alone. I later found out that she messaged one of our mutual friends, and told her that she was actively ignoring me, because I was just being short and she didn't want to be around me. So now, here we are, no closer to things being any better. And I just found out that several years ago, my wife had at least a long-term emotional affair with one guy, and had a sexual relationship with another guy. Apparently she invited this other guy over to our house when I was out of town for work, and had sex in our house. All this from the woman who constantly reminds me how much she hates. I'm devastated. I honestly have no idea how to get through tomorrow or the next day. We have 3 kids. I keep thinking I need to stick it out for them. That's the primary reason I haven't left yet. But I just don't think I can do it anymore.
First comment.
You are teaching by example what a relationship should look like. Don't stick around for the kids. It will just cause them more pain in the end. You deserve love and you deserve respect. You will never truly get either from your so-called wife. I lived through similar and I gave my ex 3 chances, which were honestly 3 more than she deserved. Pulled a band-aid. You will be happier down the road. Reach out if you need. It's rough. I have never felt more pain than the emotional trauma that all of this caused.
Second comment.
First thing I would do is have the kids' DNA tested. Even if it doesn't matter to you, she needs to face the reality of her lies and cheating. All this time of denying you, she may have been giving it to someone else. How did you find out? How do you know it's only 2? I wouldn't stick around for the kids, because the animosity you feel towards her will make for a truly uncomfortable situation. The kids will feel it, Make an exit plan and get out. Get a lawyer and let your STBXW that divorce will happen. Follow your lawyer's advice regarding moving out, since it might be a bad idea and could be considered abandonment. But let her know her abusive treatment is over. It's a lot harder to be walked on when you are standing up. Story 2. In July, my ex-fiancé announced he wanted a break to focus on himself. I was sad but tried being understanding while he stayed at his friend's house most nights. The next couple weeks, he left a random mess next to his gym bag: clothes, papers, misc. I started cleaning it up when I noticed a paper with handwriting on it. It was a love note from some random girl. At the end the note said "Heart Maddie." So I posted a picture with the note and my ex in a Facebook group that exposes cheaters. His family, co-workers, friends, and mystery woman all saw and commented about how shitty he is. Turns out she is a co-worker he met at a job he started a couple months before. Never mentioned me. I told the other girl literally about all his shortcomings, how he love bombs the first few months then it all stops, how he finishes in 2 strokes but doesn't care if you come, how over half his checks go towards his truck and he won't help with rent because the rest of his money goes towards his dirt bike. We both end up dumping his ass. She's a young party girl who is popular and ends up talking lots of shit about him to all his co-workers. This even travels to his last workplace where he was a supervisor. People at his parents' church tell them they're disappointed in him. For a guy who really tries hard at looking good, this has hurt his ego, but I still feel like he deserves worse. So we're at the end of October. I had moved out on my own and minding my own business. He texted me a sad-sounding message and mentioned filing bankruptcy, trying to get sympathy, someone to talk to. I ignored his message and had sex with someone else for the first time. I hate being mean, but I am good at it when someone hurts me. I record a video of me flushing the ring down the toilet. I messaged my ex back with the vid. Tell him I'm king someone else, and Zai selfie. When we first broke up I was 160 pounds. I wanted him to see my new 125 pounds body and got a significant pay raise, so I'm feeling confident. He was obviously upset, but I feel like he brought all this on himself. As far as I know, he's miserable right now. He's still binge watching 7 episodes a night of the same show. He finished 10 CIS series from beginning to finish since I moved out. Lol. I feel like I have my revenge. I hope he never cheats on someone else again with this lesson. Honestly, I was so trusting and I feel like it doesn't compare to the pain I felt from the betrayal.
First comment.
Should have sold the ring and used the money to go on a vacation.
Second comment.
I'm glad you got your revenge. Your ex is a terrible person. Now it's time to stop focusing on your ex and focus on yourself. Don't give him attention. Ghost him when he texts or messages you. Pretend like he doesn't exist when you see him in person. Sometimes being ignored hurts worse than being yelled at. It's now your time. Do what's best for you and find your happiness.
Third comment.
They say that the revenge is sweet, and it is. However, it feeds the resentment. And the problem is that resentment is like swallowing poison, hoping that the target of your anger will die. The best revenge is to live large. You already kicked him to the curb with some fireworks attached. Move on. Show him